Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Trash Takes. I'm Andrew Nicotra. You can call me Coach. Follow me on Twitter at TheRealMr83. I am here with my co-host Al Hill. He is normal. You can call him Al.
Yes, sir.
Follow him at Sensation_Al, but there's a random X in the middle of his name.
There's an X where the O should be.
There you go. And you can follow our podcast on Twitter at Trash Takes 3. We are excited to be back. Had fun the first episode. Wanted to get right back into it. One of the things, or a bunch of things that we touched into the first episode was all of the different sports organizations. So baseball, basketball, football. But it got me thinking about the associations and leagues and organizations. And there were certain things, especially with baseball and football, that kind of have been bugging me. And they've been bugging me for years. So I've gotten the feeling, I don't know if anybody else feels this way or you do, baseball, MLB, and football, the NFL, don't give a damn about us, the fans.
Nope.
They really, really don't. They don't care whether we're happy or take our opinions into consideration. And you can see that in the rules that actually end up getting passed, the changes that end up getting to happen to the game versus the ones that don't. So obviously we know the glaring example of baseball. What's the number one rule? I mean, again, I was someone who was very old school, get off my lawn, don't change anything. So I like National League baseball. But one thing I've come around on, and I think a lot of people have, is the universal DH. Or maybe we just saw it that it's inevitable, right? The next CBA, it's going to happen. Yep. But we accept it. We're like, you know what? We saw it last year. Yeah, you're right. It does make sense. We should all be playing the same game. So we're okay with that one. But going into the season, I understood the last year with the pandemic. But going into the season, did we end up getting that? No. But which rules end up sticking around? The stupid extra inning, runner on second, dumb rule that nobody, not the players, not fans, and I guess the owners, asked for, but they put it in place. And it's something that we have going into this 2021 season. I don't understand it. I actually don't even know what it's accomplishing in the first place. I guess the premise is to try to end the game earlier, which I don't get that concept either, because what fan wants the game to end early? Why are you watching if you can't wait for it to end? So I don't get it. I don't know if you feel the same, but that's one thing that's been bugging me for a while, and this is just another example.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear that every decision they make is strictly based on either them making money or some kind of budget that they set. What that is, obviously we don't know. We don't have access to that kind of information, but they definitely just don't care, and this one perplexes pretty much everybody. We go to a game and we're trying to watch the game, and it goes to you have whether a football game, a basketball game, a baseball game like we're talking about now, and you get to overtime or extra innings. It's exciting. You love watching. It is a gift. I paid for 9 innings worth of baseball, and I'm getting 10, 11, 12, 18, whatever it may be. It's fantastic. It's awesome. You love that sudden death aspect, and somebody hits a walk-off, whether it be a single, a home run, whatever it is. It's exciting. The stadium is electric. It's fantastic. I remember, I want to say 2016, I was at the Jets-Patriots Week 16, when they had Ryan Fitzpatrick, Eric Decker, and Brandon Marshall the last time they were, decently good. And the Steelers lost, and that was a team ahead of us to make playoffs. They lost to the Browns, as incredible as that is. And we lost our minds. And then the Jets have this huge lead, and the Patriots tie it up, and then they inexplicably give the ball to us to start overtime.
Oh, there's a weird flip game, right?
Yeah. Quincy Enunwa calling a 50-yard pass down the sideline, and he fits through a beautiful back corner fade to Eric Decker, and the stadium explodes.
Right. Now, imagine they put something in place, like a time restrict. I mean, listen, and I understand that was just regular overtime, but imagine they put something stupid in place like that would have kind of ruined that for you,
Yeah, I don't quite understand.
Baseball is doing that. I mean, free baseball, that's a term. Free baseball, the second you go into extra innings. I don't understand it. Like I said, I will compromise if they're trying to, we don't want the 12, that's what I say. We don't want the 12, 14, 15 inning games. First of all, giving both teams the same exact situation of runner on second doesn't end the game any earlier. It doesn't.
No.
Because they just go into the next inning. So you're giving them the same chances, so I don't understand it. But if there is a concern, let them play the 10th inning, let them play the 11th inning normal. And if it gets into the rare moments, fine. Now you can do the second runner because you're going to start risking the whole position player coming in to pitch anyways. And I'm sure nobody likes to see that.
Yeah, give it to us in the 13th, 14th inning, something like that. Give us an extra 3, right? Because that makes sense. Baseball's a 9-inning game. Give us an extra 1/3 of a game.
It's a compromise. I'm okay with that, but taking away regular extra inning doesn't make sense. Now,
it doesn't.
I don't even like the doubleheader thing because again, the premise isn't logical. Oh, we're limiting the exposure time on the field by taking away the last 2 innings of a doubleheader and playing it back to back. You're playing still with the same people on the field for hours. It's not like you limiting those 2 innings per game is saving anybody from any COVID situation. And I have a feeling that after it's gone, they're still going to try to stick with the 7-inning stuff. So that's not going to make any sense. Obviously, I'm playing the hypothetical, but I just have a hunch. They're like, oh, let's leave it. It just sounds like to me shorten, quicken. And I don't know why they think that's what the fan wants. That they want to get new fans and people think baseball's too long or boring. Here's an idea. You're trying to generate more offense and stuff like that. And we were kind of bouncing back and forth for it. Here's one thing I think they always should have changed, and it's not the walk the guy automatically by pointing to a base. I think that's ridiculous because I've seen games end overthrow.
Miguel Cabrera, bro. What do you mean? He singled off an intentional walk.
Single off the intentional walk, but I've seen a game end on a wild pitch because the pitcher shit his pants. I've seen Betances do it, but
Betances can't throw the ball besides,
and the runner comes home. Why are you taking that out? But anyways, you want to generate more offense. I think we should take away some of the things that limit offense in the beginning, and one of those things is the shift.
I see that obviously me and you know that we've gone back and forth on this. I think the shift is fine.
I'll tell you why.
Be a more balanced, well-rounded hitter.
I know, hit it to the opposite field. I hear what you're saying, and you're not wrong about those all-around hitters who should be rewarded if doing so. I get it. But does it not seem weird to you that you hand in a lineup card in the beginning of the day, or you go to the umpires? Here's my guys. They're batting 1 through, beep, bop, bow. This guy's playing second. This guy's playing third. But then all of a sudden, at any random point in the game, said third baseman can be in right field. Said second baseman's over by the shortstop. The shortstop, I don't even know where he goes. He goes to the left. The catcher is pitching. The first baseman's in the stands, and the right fielder's over the concession stand just in case there's a foul ball. Like it's so ridiculous, and I totally get the strategy. Hey, you're a pull hitter. You got to get better. Al, we were just talking about it. To be successful in this league, or if you're great in this league,
30%.
How many out of 10 times?
3 out of 10. 30% makes you an elite player.
Yeah, elite. Like, holy crap. 3 out of 10. This guy is freaking the best of all time if he can carry that through a whole career, right? So you fail more than 7 out of 10 times if you're good. That's already natural. And so the hitter is at a disadvantage just from the regular premise of baseball. And we're going to make it harder already. I mean, the pitcher has 7 guys behind him, 8 including the catcher, to make a defensive play. And you know from scouting reports that this lefty likes to pull the ball. And you still need to shift guys over in that position. You can't get him to roll over one. I'm sorry, but then that's on you. You want to the batter and say, get better at hitting, hit the other way. How about pitcher? You know exactly what this batter wants to do, and you still can't get him out?
This
when
is
he's more likely to fail. Ban the shift.
This is, that is fair because something we're gonna get into later. I have a pretty similar stance in terms of just to be better at pitching, but I think the shift is perfectly fine. It's not like you're doing anything completely ludicrous. The majority, like 99% of the time, you're moving either the shortstop to the other side of the second base or vice versa, the second base towards the third base side of the field.
But now they're in the outfield. They're in the outfield.
Yeah, they could. All right, I understand. He's moving. What do you want to do? Not have him be forced to play on the dirt? He can't be on the outfield grass or the infield grass.
I'll tell you exactly what you do. It's up to umpire's discretion, but you handed the lineup card. This person's playing this position. There's certain zones, just like a strike zone is set up, and I know a strike zone obviously starts to vary.
Hey, Angel Hernandez.
There are zones that a left fielder, a right fielder, a center fielder, first, second, third, shortstop, catcher, pitcher that are allowed to stay in before the pitch is thrown. You go past that zone, it's an illegal formation, just like in every other sport. There is an illegal formation penalty or a 3-second violation or offsides. There is some sort of violation or penalty in every other sport. Why shouldn't it for baseball? In fact, there already is one for the base runner. If he runs out of the line, what happens?
Yep, he's out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but
so why is the hitter getting screwed in every scenario?
That's fair. But the end, like, all right. So you say that, hey, you have to be in this zone. You know what happens? Then whenever they want to shift for a righty, the second baseman plays directly behind second base, and technically he's 1 foot to the left on the second base side, and the shortstop could still move further over, and then he could still. How, dude? Because you know how this dude, you're gonna go down a rabbit hole here where it's gonna be, a World Series changing play because this guy is 1 step too close to second base, and the manager challenges it, and that's not baseball anymore.
Listen, I would say, I'm not saying it should be some sort of interference thing where it's an automatic free base or something like that. The umpire would actually, have to make sure everything's all right before the pitch. But what I'm saying, or it could be a challengeable play. They do it already for like the neighborhood, turn double play. You can challenge. But what I'm trying to say is, Al, I'm seeing not just the pull hitters get screwed. You understand? They shift the third baseman to second. That shortstop's playing up the middle. So you line one, a perfect hit up the middle, but just because, whoever's playing shortstop, Lindor is playing up second, he catches a liner on a perfect hit. But and you're going to turn around and say, hit him where they ain't? The job is already possible.
Weren't you just talking about making sure that, you do your work on the scouting report? So if your scouting report says, hey, this guy's going to hit the ball up the middle and he shifts to shortstop closer to second base, you're telling me now, that's a shift?
Yes.
You can't have it both ways. So then what's the point of having a scouting report at that point?
For the pitcher. The pitcher and catcher to say, hey, this guy's going to try to pull your pitch.
Yeah, but where does banning the shift stop? Because at that point you have to set very strict rules in place, because you see it all the time where the manager's telling a center fielder to shift over and a left fielder to shift over to make sure, because it's more of a pull hitter. It's the same aspect in the outfield. And you know how much room they have to cover in the outfield. You know how much easier it is when.
Al, how many of them are in the outfield?
3.
There's 27 guys in the infield. Okay, so they don't need to move as far. You have 2 guys on each side of the field playing for the position.
What I'm saying is they have to make such strict rules to prevent. Because at what point do you say, oh, like the outfielders are shifting, right? Because you play, they always say, oh, he's shaded towards right field. Now all of a sudden it's going to be, he's shifted towards right field, and the manager is going to call it out, and suddenly that center fielder has to move back over. It's dumb. It's stupid.
I mean, can we at least change it so that the infielders can't go into the outfield to start the pitch? I mean, fine. You want to shift into the right side? Fine. Keep him on the dirt. Why is this guy
really that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I don't think you ban the shift, but you make some kind of rules, and you don't make it like crazy. Like you can't. I don't think you can use zones, because they're going to be arbitrary things that you can't see on the field, unless you're now all of a sudden you're painting lines in the base paths to be like, oh hey, second baseman, you can't move past this spot. No,
I get it. But they use that. I know there's a path and we can use our imagination, but they do it for the base path from first to second and second to third. There's no line. And they say, was that guy out of the baseline? He kind of just shifted over. Did he slide towards the defender on purpose, or was he already in that line? So there's a lot already. Again, I just feel like we use our brains and use our discretion to harm meaning like just negative, harm the base runner and batter, but very few for the defenders and the pitcher, who are already winning the battle more so than not. But we can move on.
That's fair. Yeah. All right. So you're talking about, the pitcher being successful like 70% of the time. I'm a big proponent of what became very, very big last year, and I think the year before that, was the let the kids play. I love that movement. That's a great one. I don't understand when we became this boring old sport, but we got, now the NFL is starting to let, Ezekiel Elliott jump in the big pot, whatever it is, the donation pot, right?
The unwritten.
Yeah, no, because some of the unwritten rules are okay. But some of them are just awful, and I think we gotta just let everybody play baseball and have fun in baseball again, right?
Yeah.
No,
the Fernando Tatis is there.
That was the thing that did it for me. Is recently I was watching some video or something of Fernando Tatis just playing, and it brought up last year when he hit the grand slam on a 3-0 count, and he had to apologize publicly for being good at baseball, and that's just such a joke. And it's like, we're talking about how pitchers are successful 70+% of the time, right? If you're hitting 300, you're in the Hall of Fame. So if you succeed 3 out of 10 times, you are one of the best players to ever play the game. Not at the current time, to ever play the game if you hit 300 for your career, right? So if you're hitting, let's give the pitchers, all right, say X is hitting 350. This guy is scorching, right? He is having a season for the ages. This guy is hitting 350. The pitcher still succeeds 65% of the time, right?
Oh yeah.
So
and before the
this
stat
is
chunk, before the stat chunk and everything else, I know there's obviously other components: on base, slugging, the whole nine. Weighted runs created plus. We're just saying that more times than not, you're a 300 plus, 330 plus hitter. You're a stud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the end of the day.
If anybody's hitting 350 for any significant portion of the season, they are untouchable at that point.
Here's the other stat on it.
yeah, they're doing bad things to baseball. But nonetheless, pitchers are still succeeding against them 65% of the time. That is very heavily weighted. And you're telling me that because this guy who already very clearly has an advantage per the stat line, right? This guy succeeds 65% of the time, which means he is above average just by existing because he's a pitcher. You're telling me that the hitter who is already at a disadvantage now needs to put himself at a further disadvantage just because the pitcher's having a bad day. He's in a 3-0. He's in a 3-0 count, and this guy gets to just, you know what? Hey, you get a free one just because. Why? Why? How is it a thing? And you brought up the unwritten rules of baseball. No, I'm not against certain things. Like, if somebody gets beaned, I'm a bean, your next guy too. It's gonna put me in a disadvantage. I'm putting your guy on first just to send the message to be like, hey, like, you hit my dude. Like, I gotta be there for my guy, right? So
I do want to bring up something though.
Go ahead.
You're right. I've bounced back and forth with this, not the premise, but I guess for my own team. So the issue with somebody not taking that 3-0 pitch isn't so much like, oh, I got to give this pitcher a pitch, like, because he's struggling. The whole premise is that, hey, selfish, are you going to take what is likely going to, or maybe be an easy walk and possibly swing and fly out, and you turn your 3-0 count into an out? Now, so from a Met fan, if I do see a Met take a swing at a 3-0 pitch and he ends up flying out or grounding out, yeah, I'm probably going to lose my mind. But I hear what you're saying. No, you should never be mad at a guy for swinging 3-0. And also, remember, they said swinging 3-0 when they were up a few runs. They tried making the score into
that's the key distinction.
we're going to hurt people's feelings, So you're right. But remember, there's more of a component. So it is the selfish aspect, because you ground out on a 3-0 pitch, you should bash the head over your helmet, unless your coach gave you the green light, obviously saying, hey, swing freely.
Yeah.
But no, the unwritten rule of we need to give this guy a strike, or don't hit a grand slam because we're already up by 4 runs late. Garbage.
Yeah,
Garbage.
See, that's the key distinction. Is I wasn't saying that, he should always swing on 3-0, or it's a good idea to swing on 3-0 because they're going to throw you a meatball or whatever. Make the pitcher work. The pitcher succeeds 60%, is more successful than the batter just because of the nature of the sport. He is at an innate advantage because he's playing baseball. And you're telling me that to not hurt his feelings, you have to let him throw a 92-mile-an-hour fastball middle, right? No. That is such garbage. And obviously, I'm not saying, hey, batter, you got to swing at a 3-0 pitch, because that doesn't make any sense either. But if the ball's in the strike zone, I'm not going to... the majority of the... Well, it's... Until something changes with the unwritten rules in that regard, you're probably going to see a fat one on 3-0, right? I want to see guys swinging at that. I want to see... Listen... The pitcher isn't going to be throwing 65 over the middle. He's still going to be throwing 92, 93, 94, right? So it's still not going to be an easy pitch to hit, but it's going to be the best pitch you probably see the whole at bat. I'm not telling you to swing at a slider that may or may not be a strike. It's borderline. If it's borderline and you think you can get a walk. Yeah. But the majority of the time, this ball is right down the middle at 92, 93. It's just a fastball. You know what's coming. If in that case, I want to see more of that. I don't want to, and I don't necessarily.
I want him to swing so hard.
Yeah, I want to see him explode.
He might get injured.
I want to see Prince Fielder breaking his belt open on a swing again. Yeah, but I just want to finish quick. And it's not that I strictly want to see more of this. I want to make it a thing that it's a non-issue, right? I want to, in the future, it to just be, oh, he swung at a 3-0 pitch because, it was middle. Okay, cool, whatever. Instead, we have instances like they're trying to popularize baseball again, right? They're trying to make it more exciting. They're trying to make it more fast-paced. They're trying to have more home runs, the whole nine. We got a guy in Fernando Tatis Jr. who is a transcendent talent. This guy is the next Mike Trout. I was thinking about it before. I can't think of a better shortstop in baseball than Fernando Tatis Jr. at the moment, and the kid's 21. Am I missing somebody?
Lindor.
All right, you're a Mets fan. That's fair. They're at the very least, you have to say they're close. I think because of because of Francisco Lindor's success over a multitude of years. I probably do give the edge to him slightly, but this kid is a freak. And he hits a grand slam on 3-0, and he's running around the bases. He's psyched. Him and his teammates are having a blast. And then he has to come out the next day and be like, I'm sorry that I blasted that ball 385 feet, right?
But here's what I will say, and this is what you're getting to the exact point that I want to say. I say let the kids play, right? Mm-hmm. Remember, the pitchers, we're considering pitchers kids too, okay? So, yeah. Let them do the trots. Let them pimp the home runs. I'm sorry.
Pitcher,
you put a home run to the moon. Are you mad about the batter swinging and blasting the ball 450? Don't throw the worst pitch of all time.
Yep.
It's kind of like, T.O. used to say, right? You don't like my celebrations, don't let me score.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, you kidding me? Like, remember Jose Bautista's home run?
Yeah, dude, that was what I was getting to next. I want to see more of Jose Bautista swinging and standing and watching the ball go 450 feet and then flipping the bat 35. I want to see all of that.
He should have thrown the bat
straight into my veins. I need all of that. Right?
He should have thrown the bat at the pitcher's head and said, he should have pissed on the field. Are you kidding me?
How dare you throw me a pitch like that?
That was the biggest moment in Toronto since 1993.
Yeah, since Joe Carter.
So what I'm saying is, though, I also don't fault the pitchers taking matters in their own hands the next time they get up. And I'm not saying nail these guys, but you want to know who I want to take into consideration? Maybe you like him and I hate him, and I know he's good, so we don't have to go there. Juan Soto.
I don't really care for him.
Okay,
Doesn't
good.
matter to me.
So Juan Soto's a stud. I don't
Yep.
need to dive in to why he's a 5-tool player. Yes, I get it. He might win an MVP next year. He's my pick if the Nats are good enough to do it. But all that aside, somebody was actually telling me like I'm one of those get off my lawn type guys because I say Juan Soto should take a fastball to the ribs every at bat. And the reason why I say that is that stupid Soto shuffle thing that he does before the pitch. Yeah, I'm not
I have
before the
never
pitches.
seen this.
Oh, all right.
Do
So
I need to
when
look
you
this
get a
up now?
chance,
Give me just. I'm gonna look
yeah.
this up right now. We're doing it live.
So as you're looking it up, so basically what this guy does, and you'll see it, is that anytime a pitcher throws a ball in the dirt or misses clearly, or maybe sometimes just misses, but where it's clear that a pitcher isn't throwing a strike, Soto will shuffle his feet left and right, stare the pitcher down, go towards the pitcher, and grab his nutsack
What?
at the pitcher. Oh yeah, go watch
Let
it.
me
It's
see.
funny,
I'm
man.
watching this. Let me see this.
Please, give me a sec.
This is actually a thing.
It's
Yup.
real.
Wow,
As the sky is blue.
that's a real thing, huh? Yeah, this
So
is.
then, instead of the pitcher launching a 95-mile-an-hour fastball at his rib cage, or at least behind him, they continue to pitch like no big deal and they try to get out. Now
I'm
I get it.
I'm
You
watching him
should-
do it to Clayton Kershaw right now, bro. If I'm Clayton Kershaw, I'm throwing one of those beautiful rainbow
You wanna know
curveballs
the only person
straight
I
at
ever
his
seen-
dome.
You want to know the only person I've seen throw at him? You wouldn't even be able to guess.
Nah, no clue.
You're
No
gonna
clue.
think, oh, a guy with a big flaming fastball or something. Nope.
Somebody from the NL East probably.
No.
Go
World
ahead.
Series, Zach Greinke. That psychopath, because we know Zach Greinke's
He's a
psycho.
lunatic.
Yeah. I finally threw at him a little inside to let him know, like, dude, what have you done yet in this league? I know you're a good stud, but you don't get the David Ortiz, Big Poppy type, attitude yet until you get those numbers and that type of success. So Juan Soto doing it as the engagement's going, I hate it. Hit him in the ribs.
Mm-hmm.
If Juan Soto hits a 430-foot bomb, I don't care if Juan Soto starts doing cartwheels and, like I said, pisses on the field at the pitcher, and that's okay because you did the job already. Don't start doing the shuffle and this is why I'm saying pitchers man up. I know you don't want to run her on, but guess what? Juan Soto's probably going to slug the ball anyways. And nail him in the ribs and change his attitude. That's just my only take on that.
That's
Other
fair.
than that, I think good play.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. And you said doing cartwheels, and it made me think of, did we have this issue? Like, was this an issue before? Because I'm thinking about Ozzie Smith, right? Guy used to do backflips on the field, and he didn't. Did he catch any heat for that? I can't remember that being a thing. But guy literally did backflips.
I don't think we had issues from fans and analysts and writers and all that stuff. We had pitchers though, like I said, take matters into their own hands. So one instance that comes to mind is Madison Bumgarner versus Yasiel Puig years ago, right? They had their little back and forth almost every time they faced each other. Obviously, it was you had LA versus San Francisco and stuff like that. But Puig was that guy. He was the Tatis before Tatis doing this stuff. He had his little flair.
Tatis isn't even that bad. Tatis is good. Like he's just a good player.
I
Puig came into the league and he was good, but he was like cocky good. Where he was talking all that shit, right? Yeah. Tatis, like I don't remember Tatis doing that. Tatis just goes out and is better than everybody else, right?
But there was moments where Yasiel Puig, he fucking blasted Madison Bumgarner, fastball slider to the moon, left and right or whatever. And Puig, he admired it, took his time, and ran very slowly around the bases. But everyone knew what he was doing. And Bumgarner at one point was yelling at him while he was going around the bases and go get, trot, like quit, dogging it, quit milking and stuff like that. And Yasiel Puig was like, fuck you. I just ruined your day. You don't like it. Shake me out.
I'm all for it.
I'm all for it too. But I like it when don't let writers and other people complain about this stuff. Let the players handle it on the field. Don't tell me it's not exciting when Tatis hits a ball and then he just stays put, stares at his dugout.
The freeze frame. I love the freeze frame.
And guess what? If the pitcher throws at him next time, that's cool too.
Especially
That shows
like,
me the pitcher's no bitch. You know what I mean?
yeah, bro. Let me tell you, for as much shit as I'll give him, and I will say it on the record, currently at this moment, I hate Barry Bonds. He's garbage. But let me tell you, the way his swing ended on a home run into a freeze frame, that's some of the coolest shit I ever seen on a baseball field. I hate the guy, but when yep, exactly. When he would swing and hit one to the moon, and like the way his swing ended, he would always kind of like open up anyway. So he would open up and just kind of like watch it. And that was always some of the coolest stuff you ever seen. I'm a big fan of that.
The greatest home run celebrations, not the crazy yelling or even bad flips. The best ones are the home run to just automatic bat drop at your feet. First one coming to mind for the Met fans, 2019 Nats series, Wilson Ramos' home run. I was at the game. But listen, the guy wasn't even slugging the ball over the fence, so I think it even made it even better that he just knew. You know, like when you get a guy who's not constantly hitting home runs and they know the damage they just did on a ball, you know what I mean? Like you could tell, like Brandon Nimmo would sprint around the bag even if he hit a 500-foot ball. He doesn't know what it feels like.
Yeah.
But Wilson Ramos, you know, he got into one and he just like it's another day, you know, on the job. Drops the bat at his feet. The stadium exploded. My head exploded. But those are the coolest moments where a guy just you know, Robinson Cano, you do it all the time.
Robinson Cano. Currently, if you were to watch a Yankees game and you want to see a guy that does something like that, Aaron Hicks. I hate him. I don't want to see him on the field ever because I think the Yankees have probably 4 outfielders that are better. Not defensively. I need Clint Frazier to play the game. That is the biggest thing for me. Clint Frazier needs his playing time. It's driving me nuts that he doesn't get it. But when Aaron Hicks hits a home run, and when he hits him because he's got that swing, you know, and it looks awesome. It looks. I love those kind of swings. Yep.
And that's why I hate him. You know, I'm a Yankee hater. So one of my biggest hater, you know, my most hated Yankee, or one of them, I should say, is Aaron Hicks because he does have that flair. So I just, you know, anytime someone looks cool doing something as a Yankee, I hate you.
Yeah,
so yes, he gets into one and he drops the bat I think it pisses me off because he's not a big home run hitter.
Yeah, no, he gets his 15.
Yeah, his finish is as if he's hit 550 in his career. You know, like
he's got the Barry Bonds finish, except he's going to finish with 600 less home runs than Barry Bonds.
Exactly. So I think that's why it bothers me too. But no, you're totally right. Aaron Hicks was. I said at the same time. I knew who you were talking about. That's his flair. That's his thing. Cano had it. And some of these guys just have it. It's fun for baseball. Okay.
Yep.
This one, it's okay to get angry. Like it's okay to piss off your opponent and their fans.
Everybody loves those highlights. You love seeing guys walking over to their dugout, snapping a bat over the knee or whatever it might be. Everybody loves those kind of highlights, and that's what brings more people to the sport, more fans to the sport, is seeing those kinds of highlights and being like, damn. And you know, like, so recently the Yankees signed Derek Dietrich to a minor league contract. And I'm pretty sure I sent a video in our group chat of him pimping home runs. He had like a giant rivalry with, I think it was the Pirates. It might have been Chris Archer in particular, but he hit a ball out into the Allegheny River in Pittsburgh, I'm pretty sure.
But he drops the bat. He drops the bat, you know, and that's that home run. And he shakes his head a little bit too, like, dude, you can't throw that. Like that.
Dude,
okay,
he walks.
Like,
he walks around with so nobody else can see it, but he walks around like this with his shirt, like the top 2 buttons undone, and he's got the giant gold chain. Yeah, and he walks around, he flexes all the time. It's hilarious. And I don't understand why that's such a bad thing. Listen, if the pitcher wants to be like, hey, shut up, go ahead, peg him. I don't care. That's fine. I'm all for it. If you want to peg him, You're putting him on first base. That's a risk you're willing to take, right? But like, bro, if he just hit the ball 5,000 feet off of you, right? How are you going to be that upset that, like, you know, he trots around the bases at a certain speed or something like that? I just can't get behind that. Yeah, and I mean, it's I can't. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Something else we wanted to hit on today was something that I in particular want to hit on really bad was breakout predictions for the MLB season, because it's right around the corner. You know, somehow we're at the start of March already. It's been 3 months. I don't understand where the time went. But here we are knocking on the door. We're almost there. Baseball is starting. I have been preaching about this team for the last 2 or 3 years now. And this is, as unbelievable as this is, Breakout, give me the Chicago White Sox, bro. Chicago White Sox.
They're a fun one.
They are a fun one. I'm gonna bring up their roster here. It's pretty scary. We've been.
Yeah, you got Brayu and Anderson. And
not even that, man. Their pitching is pretty good now too. Lucas Giolito looks finally like he's the real deal. Dallas Keuchel's a little veteran guy. He's gonna give you some stuff as a lefty, right? Whenever Michael Kopech does whatever he's doing, that guy's.
I know that kid. He might show you a lot.
That kid's throwing 119 miles an hour or something like that. You know? Lance. They signed Lance Lynn at some point. He's another veteran.
Who was a stud the last 2 seasons?
What?
Who was a stud the last 2 seasons?
That's what I'm saying. He's good. Then you go to their lineup. Yasmani Grandal behind the plate. On the infield, Jose Abreu, Tim Anderson, who's another one of those top 5 or 10 shortstops in the league at this point. Kind of out of nowhere. Yeah, Yohan Moncada is a big name as well. As long as he stays doing what he's been doing. And then in the outfield, you have Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert, and Blake Rutherford, a bunch of young kids. But they have all the promise in the world. And Luis Robert, apparently, I was looking at Luis Robert highlights. It looks like he hits the ball. When he hits the ball, he hits the ball. He's
a stud. Eloy Jimenez is a stud. Remember drafting in fantasy. But he's going to be a special kid. I like the White Sox. I really do. I think everyone's keeping their eye on them because they wanted to. Listen, anytime a team was down for mad long, everyone's like, yeah, we can get behind that because they don't piss us off at all. And it's this would be exciting that they did a turnaround, So White Sox in the American League, that's they're the dark horse, right?
Yeah, they're a fun one. Who else is in the Central? I guess, the Twins, right? The Twins would probably be the favorites coming in.
I'll never back them ever in my lifetime.
Yeah, they're just gonna hit the ball. They're just gonna hit a whole bunch of home runs and then lose to the Yankees in whatever series they put it in. So, I love the White Sox, bro.
Yeah, no, I like them too. All right, so I'm gonna pick a team. I'm not saying they do really well, so if that makes sense. But I will consider it a breakout if they look good. And that's in your division. It's not the Blue Jays.
What? It's not the Blue Jays.
No, because that's expected, right? They just added all this talent. We get it.
Yeah.
I'm saying if 2020 carries over anything at all, the Orioles will not be as bad as we expect.
So what are we considering not as bad? Are we saying they're gonna be 500 or
they 40 games? It's a good thing now.
Exactly.
No. I think I don't even know. It's funny you should say that. Maybe it's in certain categories that I'm saying they'll thrive in, where I think offensively they're not as bad of a unit as we expect them to be. They might finish last. You're right. They still might finish last. But I think when you start playing them in series and you see them playing games, they might have that one shortcoming that constantly loses them games. But in the game itself, you're going to see wait, this roster is not as terrible as we think it is. They had some good hitters perform in the 2000. It was a fake season if you want to look at it that way. But they hit. So if there's any sort of growth there, if there's any sort of improvement, any sort of added leadership, I actually don't know the moves that they've made.
Couldn't tell you.
But if any sort of improvement with some of the young talent where it's wow, no, that kid was not a flash in the pan. He actually does hit. I think it'll be just somewhat more exciting to be oh, this is not just a trash team. I'm not saying they will win a lot of games. Just saying they will play better than you expect them to play.
I mean, that sounds fair. Like you said, I don't know if they added anybody, who they added, whatever it is. I couldn't tell you who's on their team because all I remember of the Orioles of recent was that Gleyber Torres hit 15 home runs against them in a single season. because that was Gleyber Torres actually made a career off of the Orioles.
Stop pitching to him.
I don't, bro. Do you remember the clips from their like the Orioles commentators who were literally screaming, "Don't pitch to the guy, walk him." It was it was something like 12 or 13 home runs against the Orioles in that one season. It was just the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
What's going on with Gleyber? Just side note, I mean, what's the expectation of this kid? He was supposed to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. He's bad.
He's still a top 10 shortstop in the league for sure.
Before we jump in, your fans and now the league, they jump in on narratives. My team fan base does the same thing. Is Gleyber Torres as awful of a defensive player that the fans make him out to be? Like,
I don't know who has said he's a bad defensive player. He's good.
I mean, so many fans.
I'm
always nervous when he feels a ground ball. He might throw it away.
All right, so Andujar is really bad at third. I don't know if you're confusing the two.
No, I'm not confusing the two. I'm telling you right now that Gleyber Torres is looked at as a bad shortstop. So not overall grade. They don't think he's going to stay this way, but he's been bad at defense. So like the guy for me, and I know statistically he's not good, so the stats will support it. But if you watch a JD Davis play third base, this guy's made out to be like he is blind, deaf, and dumb, and faces backwards when everyone else is facing the batter when he's at third base. The guy's not as bad as everyone makes him out to be, but they make it seem like he's David Ortiz playing left field, but this is at third.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I'm like, I watch the games, and yeah, your eyes can totally lie to you, but I think the numbers can lie to you too, and JD Davis, one of those guys that he sometimes messes up on the easy plays, but he'll turn around and just make that diving play that makes up right for it. So it's like, you balance that out, he's an average defender in my book. So I don't know if that type of feel was happening for Torres, where it's like they took a narrative just because technically if you slice it this way and that way, he's actually a bad defender, to can we trust this kid to be our shortstop? I'm like, how did we get here? I thought this guy was like,
Yeah, he was 5-tool. We robbed the Cubs. I haven't seen it. To be fair, I really didn't watch much last year. It was a 60-game season.
Yeah.
I watched, what typically happens is, I watch about 40 to 50 games a year. I watch the first bunch and be like, oh, who's performing well? What teams are performing well? Who's performing well individually? Are the Yankees performing well? Yes, that's usually the answer. And then, you watch the playoff stretch. You watch the last 25 because you want to see, is this team going to make the push and make that wild card slot? Who's going to win this division? It's really close. You love watching that kind of stuff. And then obviously watch the playoffs, because the playoffs are playoff baseball is special. Let's put it that way. So
I have a difference.
I could have missed some Gleyber Torres miscues, but I don't think he's bad. I think so. A big one that came up, and I brought him up just a couple of minutes ago, was Clint Frazier. I need to see Clint Frazier on the field, and part of the reason I said that is because he came in for a couple games last year and he made 2 or 3 errors. And everybody wrote him off. He can't play center field. We can't have him in the field ever again. If this guy ever touches the field, I want Brian Cashman and I want Aaron Boone's jobs. I'll take over. Clint Frazier needs to strictly DH. He's never allowed to touch the field again. And if I ever see it, I'm no longer a Yankee fan. We jump to that bandwagon. And it's like, dude, like, let the kid play. Obviously, like he doesn't play ever. How is he ever going to do well in center field if all he's doing is tracking down fly balls that his coach hits in pregame warmups?
This is the year he's gonna get the playing time. I know everyone kind of shit their pants when Gardner was re-signed, Gardner's not gonna get the playing time like he did the last few years, obviously barring injury and stuff. But Clint is gonna get his time, and it's gonna be exciting to see him get his at bats and see if he improved in the field. Now, one thing, all that aside, we picked our dark horses and how the different players are going to field and all that stuff. There was a topic that I saw and I thought it'd be really exciting to get in on. I'm shifting gears here, but I'm going to come back to baseball. Basketball. Mm-hmm. Recently, Kyrie Irving, and I'm going to ask you straight up, Kyrie Irving did like a either post-game, pre-game, whatever game interview where he indicated, and for very, very good reasons and obvious reasons, that the logo for the NBA should be changed. Right now, it's Jerry West. It's been Jerry West since I think time started.
Mm-hmm.
And he says it changed, and to none other than Kobe Bryant, and should be changed to that.
Mm.
I good discussion. For me personally, I might be inclined to agree with him. I don't know if you even had a stance on this stuff, but I don't know if you saw it. But I just don't see a problem with changing the logo. It's been the same for however long. I'm also not opposed to keeping the same. I'm gonna keep things the same, guy. I'm saying if you had to change it, Kobe Bryant's a great pick for me. I love Kobe personally. Obvious reasons why you pick him now with everything that went on, and it's not like we're picking some bum. He's one of the greatest players to ever play without him passing away. So what a great idea. And then the obvious thing is, if you didn't want to go to him and you want to just pick the real obvious logical choice, it's Michael Jordan.
True.
Yeah,
I
know he's already the Nike guy.
Yeah. No, I mean, I hadn't seen it before you brought it up. On one, like I think I'm right there with you. If they want to keep it the same, go ahead. It's something that I've seen my entire life. It's recognizable. Is it outdated? I don't think so. I mean, it's just the NBA logo. Like I don't see anything. There's nothing wrong with it. Like it seems like kind of like a timeless thing where like you see it and you're like, oh, that's the NBA logo, right? So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Changing it. I mean, am I going to be opposed to it? No, I don't really care unless it's you want to change it to something real stupid, in which case you're an idiot. But I mean, as in that aspect as like a tribute to Kobe, I think it would be nice. Maybe you don't do it as like the full-time thing. Maybe you change it for like a season or something in remembrance of Kobe or something along those lines. Because I do feel like it's a bit like, without a doubt, Michael Jordan is a better all-time player than Kobe Bryant, right? So it kind of feels like a slight to Michael Jordan in a way, and obviously it's not intended that way. And I'm sure Michael Jordan wouldn't be like, well, what about me? Because he's got 8 million other things on his plate. He's also got every ring that the NBA ever gave out.
$1 billion.
Yeah. But like, I'm definitely not opposed to it. I think it's a good idea. I think it's definitely a nice tribute to Kobe, but I don't think I would keep it forever just because it does seem weird that like, you could name 3 or 4 other players that would be better. That would definitely be better than Kobe, and then there's a list of probably like 5 others that are arguably better than Kobe.
But his influence and what happened with the tragedy would obviously play into it. But you're right. If you don't want to put the emotions into it and just keep it basketball to basketball, I'm all right with that. But that was one point I wanted to bring up. But part of it is I wanted to shift over to baseball. Baseball's a logo. That logo was made in the dawn of man.
Mm-hmm.
And they say that when they came up with the logo, it's rumored, and it's apparently debunked. It's not true. But it was rumored that it was actually based off of Harmon Killebrew. Whether it's true, false, or in between, it's not relevant. My question is, because it doesn't have an exact person that it's based off of, I think it should change. And I have my idea. First, I'm going to ask you, if you had to change it,
if you say Mike Piazza, cutting it short.
No, David Wright. No.
Oh yeah.
What's it called? If they had to change the logo, what would you do? Who? How? Would you do anybody? What would it be?
The easy answer is not Barry Bonds. Is there any one guy who's like the guy? I don't know. It's pretty rough.
Mickey, whatever you want to pick.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Yankees have, this is gonna be me, the Yankee lover. Obviously the Yankees have all kinds of guys that you could put on that logo, but I can't think of like a guy that transcends baseball, And I don't know if that's me trying not to be Yankee biased, because some of the best players of all time were Yankee biased. Yeah, I mean, Hank Aaron is obviously one. Any of the Yankee greats, if you want to use Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, whoever it may be, is great. I wonder who you would... Mariano Rivera. But namely because I was going after who you would use as a pitcher. Nolan Ryan might be a fun one.
No. Well, it's not who I would pick. It's not a bad pick. But Here's my idea. So obviously, again, we talked about it before. Baseball's biggest fear and issue that they're trying to overcome. That I didn't listen. You listen to statistics. Oh, we're doing so bad with the young crowd, the young market. I don't really believe it. I don't see it, but whatever. Fine. Say you are. We're trying to get the excitement going, right? And staying relevant to current baseball. So rather than going historical, which you could, Babe Ruth, the OGs, Ty Cobb, whoever you want to use. What if you did this to keep it modern? Build excitement over guys that you may have not been following before. Ready? As part of the reward for winning MVP every year, you become the new logo going into the following year.
So we're doing a logo a season.
Logo per season, and it's just either a swinging silhouette or a pitching silhouette. Most time it's going to be swinging.
Yeah.
Or whatever one the player picks, and say it's Mike Trout. You get Mike Trout is not you can't even dispute it. He'll be the face of baseball. He'll be the logo of baseball as the MVP. It'll garner more attention from Mike Trout, who we're starving for, right? We want everyone to talk about him like he's a household name. But let's say a Tatis wins it one year, a guy from San Diego. He's the logo. Let's say randomly a guy from the Colorado Rockies wins it. Now you got a Colorado Rocky as the logo, and it's just giving more attention to players and teams that otherwise you would never even think of. And I think it would be great, like part of like a opening day ceremony to unveil the new logo and say that's the new logo. It would be so cool that if you want to stay modern, ever changing, and don't pick the same guy every time, to change it to the MVP every single time, and that would be sick.
That could be interesting for sure. You brought up the Colorado Rockies as if they've never had an MVP. They had an MVP candidate, and then about 3 weeks ago they didn't anymore. That was a fun one. Get rid of all your good players, I guess. Yeah.
But hey, what was the episode? Last episode we talked about. We didn't give enough credit to Pujols when he won MVPs, right? Wouldn't it be sick if he became the logo, and maybe it would have limited how much we took it for granted? I'm not saying we just ignore MVPs, like we don't know we won them, but you're talking about the logo constantly being that guy. It's just an added layer of that's the dude this year,
Yeah, I think if somebody were to pitch this seriously on like a platform, that it definitely could gain some traction, especially for smaller market teams who happen to stumble upon a guy like this, where San Diego Padres aren't California is a big market. San Diego doesn't have a big fan base, whereas comparatively to the Dodgers, who also play in California. But I mean,
Giancarlo Marlins.
Yeah, exactly. And Tatis, if Tatis were to win it, that would bring tons more people into San Diego fandom, because they'd be like, oh, what's this? You see the news article on Twitter or Facebook or whatever stupid news source you want to use, and they're saying, oh, the MLB changed. I'm not into sports, but MLB changed their logo. Let me read this, and suddenly you're reading about this 21-year-old kid from San Diego Padres. I'm from San Diego. Maybe I should go to a game. And I
add attention.
The one issue with that is gonna be merchandise, right? Because you're gonna have to change the logo on the merchandise unless you want to use the classic MLB logo on merchandise, right?
No, I say do away with it. Isn't it a reason for people to get the new fresh things? How about this one? Merchandise becomes more valuable because now it's
a collector's item from the Mike Trout MVP season.
1,000%. 1,000%.
Maybe.
Oh, I got that rare. Let me pick a guy who's could rarely hit. Like, say Yelich won it for freaking Milwaukee. Oh, I had the Christian Yelich. I know he didn't. He lost it, but I had the Christian Yelich year. Jersey. How sick would that be?
Yeah. I could see
years down the line, it's worth $6,000. Like what?
I could see it.
So, and by the way, you said pitching on a platform. This is obviously a huge platform. Trash Takes podcast gonna be very
to
very
the moon,
big.
bro.
Just gonna submit it in, and I'll change the world, the sports world.
Do we tag who's the commissioner, bro? I gotta Goodell, right? No, I gotta go home. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah,
I'm signing off. See ya.
Later. No, it's Trash Manfred.
Oh yeah, Rob Manfred. Yeah, ruining baseball. Yeah, bro. Let's tweet it straight at him. Why not? Let's see what happens.
Dude, that dude baseball, man. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Any chance he gets, but
dude, it
back
seems like all the commissioners just want to ruin their own sports. They want to see what they can do without a job, I guess.
Yeah, no.
Speaking
Honestly,
of, speaking of not having a job, we brought this up briefly last episode. The Marlins president, can we talk, or the Mariners president? Can we talk about that for a second here? So dude, I'll never let this die until I get it out. For anybody who missed this one, the Mariners president was in a local Rotary Club Zoom meeting. And a Rotary Club is like local business men or business people, whatever. Talking about whatever they feel like talking about.
Rotors.
Rotors. In this meeting, you gotta change your brakes every once in a while. In this meeting, he decided to bring up the fact that he was talking to Hisashi Iwakuma, who, by the way, super underrated. That guy. This incident made me look at his stats. He was unbelievably good, like really, really good. Yeah. He was talking about how he was hiring Hisashi Iwakuma as their Japan League scout, I believe. And he brought up the fact that he didn't want... The biggest thing that held up the deal was that he didn't want to pay his interpreter $75,000 a season. $75,000. Keep in mind, what is baseball's payroll? $252 million? No, that's the Alex Rodriguez deal, isn't it?
What's his net worth?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is it's such a small percentage of what he can pay, and what the Mariners have never ever been. If you took all the best Mariners players of all time and put them on a single roster today, I think they would still be under the salary cap.
Whoa. Back up.
What?
No.
All right, listen, I was exaggerating. They don't pay anybody. So how are you complaining about paying $75,000 for an interpreter? Then, on top of this, this is something that you have to... There's another level to this, right? So you are... At this, you have to have some level of business acumen to be in the position he's in, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
So you are the president of the Seattle Mariners. You have, if not the biggest, the second biggest, probably Asian and Asian American fan base on the planet, right? Because Ichiro Suzuki was like the first really big name. So you have all the Ichiro fans. Hisashi Iwakuma, again, big influence. I say either first or second because the Yankees also had Hideki Matsui, and the Yankees in general have a bigger name. So it's probably one of the two, right?
And the Mets had Kaz Matsui, but go on.
Yeah. Kaz Matsui and Daisuke Matsuzaka both significantly worse than any of the other Japanese imports. But so you have to have some level of business acumen, and this guy doesn't see how it would be an issue to make a dumb idiot comment like this about as soon as I told him I wasn't gonna sign him because of the $75,000, suddenly he speaks better English. It's like, are you, dude? No, he never.
Is that your Seattle accent, by the way?
I don't. That's just a dumb idiot businessman who very clearly doesn't know what he's talking about. How do you make it to that point in your career and know your fan base the way I think you should know your fan base? Because obviously you have a big Japanese and Japanese American fan base, like I said, and make a dumb comment like that. It's incredible.
Doesn't that just feed right back into what you're talking about? I think from the owners, the organizations, all that stuff, and as much as I'd like to say Steve Cohen's going to be a big change to this, the owners and heads of all these, they hate the fans. They do things
it's incredible
that fans don't like. Whether you're the commissioners or you're the owners of the actual team, they do things. I mean, listen, I had Wilpons for how many years? They do things fans don't like. You know what I mean? Even listen, you're about to go down a dark road with the Yankees, they think, but not spending money.
Yeah, I don't understand what the Steinbrenners think they're doing, owning the most expensive franchise in baseball and not spending any money on players.
Where are we real quick? Where are we out of time?
About an hour. It's time. About time to wrap it up. Yeah.
I'll wrap it up with this, and hopefully I'll be able to touch it into it a little bit more. I promised I would have this time, but I guess next time. Despite the loss recently, I'm so excited about the New York Knicks, and I promise to get into them more next time.
Yeah.
A lot of cool stuff that we got into, and we had to get off our chest.
Yeah,
But
I'm not as basketball savvy as you are. I know,
no,
the
no,
bigger names and who's performing well. I know that the Knicks are, as they're like 500 or like just over 500, right? So
they're
they're
at
not
500 right now.
yeah, so they're not blowing everybody
At the time
away,
of
but this is exciting, and even I know, having not watched a single NBA game this year, that the Knicks have a, it looks like they have a bright future finally, and
yeah.
it's definitely exciting, yeah.
So we'll touch into there, quickly but surely next time. But this was a lot of fun.
As
Had
always.
some technical internet difficulties, but I think we always will as long as I exist.
Yeah.
But
Did we answer your pop quiz questions from Twitter yet?
oh yeah, actually, we did.
At the
Put
real
the-
Mr. 83.
Yeah, I put it up there, and the two questions for the last time were which two lineups did I screw up mixing up the lineups when we were talking about stacked lineups in a few years back, and the two lineups were the Rangers and the Blue Jays. I started saying Adrian Beltre was on the Blue Jays, completely incorrect. And then the second one was which internet provider is the cause of all of our issues on this end, and that is Optimum. I really hope that this slander that they are the worst company of all time doesn't get us in trouble or anything.
The finest.
But they're atrocious. But other than
They
that, we
are
will have to.
optimum, bro. You know that word? That word means like greatness, the
Yeah.
best. they just
Yeah.
they just kill it, dude. They're terrible.
No, so we had our own issues this time, but I think we got it through smoothly.
Yeah.
We'll pick up on things next week. Thank you if you've tuned in so far, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.